record. So let's go back to the questions. Now, this question is from 1.9. It's number 3 on your online homework. And it basically talks about things that we were talking about the other day. So I'm going to take my handy-dandy stylus. And whiteboard. And I thought I was going to pull up the whiteboard. There it is. Sorry. And remember, domain, unless it's a radical or a fraction, usually, and you have arrows on both ends, usually it's going to be all real numbers. All right? Now, if there's no, if there's no dots right here, if there's no open circles or closed circles, it's considered to be what? Arrowheads. Okay? So this one has a domain of all real numbers because it keeps on going and going, and it hits all of these. Now, it may take forever for it to go, but it's infinite. It keeps going. Your range, I always start from the bottom, and I tell students to try to be consistent with whatever your method is. So that's going to be negative infinity to what? To 3. Negative infinity to 3. Now, I think I showed y'all the airplane the other day, but I'll show it to you again. All right? Technically, this guy, since it has an arrowhead, it eventually goes out like that. And this one eventually goes out like that. It's very slow, but it goes out like that. So you take your handy-dandy shoe-looking, that looks like the shoe from SpongeBob. I'm not going to do that. That looks like a boot, one boot. All right, so let's go with this, that, this, that. And which way do we read? Left to right. So what is this plane doing from left to right? It's increasing, correct? So we're increasing on the left side. So those of you that's done it like this in the past, put pluses on that side. And it gets to the what? To the vertex, and then it starts to what? Decrease. It goes down. So, and like I say, I use that as a kind of a visual aid to help students see increasing and decreasing. Now, that's not what students miss. What students miss is they try to put the y values in for your answer. The only thing that's in terms of the y value is what? The range. Now, I want everybody to put that in your notes because for some reason, when y'all do increasing and decreasing values, y'all start to read the y-axis. And that's the number one mistake y'all make, students make. So increasing from negative infinity, because we read from left to right, to what? What is the number is this? Like what? 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8. Now remember Michael Jordan, he's either going up or down, so that means he gets a parenthesis on 8 when you're talking about increasing and decreasing values. Decreasing from 8 to what? Infinity. And it's opening downward, so that means concave down. Concave is a 25-cent word for opening. Okay? All right, who has a question on that one? Is that hopefully that helps with that type of question. What do they ask for down at the bottom? Anything else? Yeah, Hubert. No, Hubert. Hey, thank you for interacting. All right, there it is. Max and min. The vertex is at 3. And there it is. It's increasing from negative infinity to what? 8. and going, okay, where do they get the 16? Okay, all right, now this is incorrect. They either need to put arrowheads on this thing, or they need to put closed circles or open circles. All right, because MyLabs Plus, if it doesn't have, then it's assumed to be continuous. So this is not a good question from WebAssign, because they are showing y'all that they should take a dadgum closed circle and put a closed circle there or open circle, and they're not doing that, and they're asking you. So whoever sent this question in, I can see why you sent it in, because this does not match what they have up here. If they want you to do a termination point, then they need to put it on the graph. They shouldn't leave it just with nothing there. They should put arrowheads, open circles, or closed circles. They shouldn't just leave it like that. Okay? So in that case, since they are saying that there's an ending point, then it changes everything. So I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to make the question correct. So I'm going to take a, I don't know where my, okay. I'm going to put an open circle right here, and I'm going to put an open circle right here. Now, let's go back to the range. Let's go back to range and domain. Now, somebody tell me what the domain is now. It's from whatever this number is. I'm going to say 6.
Do you like tomatoes and lettuce?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. 6 and 10. So the domain goes from 6 to what? To 10. The range is from -3 to what? +3. -3. We touch 3 because it's for the vertex. Increasing from negative what? From 6 to, what's that number right here? 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 to 8. And then decreasing from 8 to what? 10? So that's if they put open circles there. So that's kind of a review using 2 different type questions, but I really don't like the way they've got this. So from now on, it looks like to me that if you don't have circles, arrowheads, or that you just consider them closed circles or open circles, I don't know. I don't know how you determine. The question, whoever sent the question, if you don't mind me asking, is that why you sent it, because you were unsure of its termination, or if it kept going? Did I hear?
Yeah.
Is that it?
What? C was the one that.
I'm sorry, what?
C, part C, that bottom part.
Yeah.
C.
That's why you got confused, because you were thinking it kept going and it didn't. And that's why, because they're not, which is very common with WebAssign. So that's why I don't like it. Okay, so everybody good on that one? All right, let's go to another one. Anybody got questions? Just scream them out, okay? This one is 1.8. Okay, this comes out of another book. I had to pull a lot of questions out of the other book because this one sucked. So, and it's not pulling up. Okay, I will come back to that one, okay? We'll come back to that one. Let me go down to this one. Okay, come on, this is, mine we want to refresh the tab.
The Wi-Fi might be messing up.
No, it's this website. It sucks. There. Okay, this is a good question. E to the 2x minus 6e to the x plus 5 is equal to 0. Does anybody have any idea how we do this one?
Wouldn't you like factor out like the each?
I can't read.
I didn't start in high
No.
school.
You would focus on the e to the x, and you would say you want to let u equal e to the x. Okay? Let u equal e to the x.
Mr. Hubert, could you make it any larger?
I don't think I can. The only thing I can do, and I don't know if you can see this, I'll try it. Does it get bigger when I do this? Nope.
Can
Didn't
they
move.
see it?
Mm-mm. Well, they can see it, but I see it on
Well,
that.
you could zoom in on like.
I don't
You gotta
think
move
it'll-
that thing on the top.
No, I've already got it wide as it'll go. See, it just looks like that on there. Y'all can't stretch y'all's as. Can y'all put your can y'all put your cursor on the bottom right hand corner and stretch it out?
Oh, good.
Can you try that?
What am I trying to do?
See if you can enlarge it because y'all got all this area around it. See if you can go to the bottom right hand corner and see if you can maximize it. You can. That's it. That's all you're going to be able to do. Unless you change the, y'all might can change the,
Yeah, Joe.
Doesn't do anything. What's the point?
try to play with it is the only thing. I'll make it bigger. Hold on a second now.
Or if you just write it out, that's fine.
That's fine. E to the 2x minus 6
In actual
e
size makes
to
it a
the
little bigger.
x plus 5 is equal to 0. And I'm going to let u, or whatever letters you want to use, I'm going to let u equal e to the x and put that u back into it. See what you get. And you can use reverse FOIL, or you can use completing the square, whichever you want to do. You ever notice that soft drinks don't make the same sound as beer when you open them? You ever notice that? It doesn't make the same sound. Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I go to group Tuesday night. You get so many people with no sense of humor. Ain't have a sense of humor.
I was laughing, you just couldn't hear.
No, I'm talking about people will go to my department head and say, I think he has an alcohol problem. Snowflakes. All right, so that's u to the second power minus 6u plus 5 is equal to what? 0. Now, to save time, I'm just going to use the reverse FOIL. So that's going to be a u and a u. And there's no multiple of 5 except for 1. Well, there's 2 and 3. So we're going to have a 2 and a 3 because we've got to have like signs. So that's going to be, no, it's not. It'll be a 1 and a 5.
Yeah.
It'll be a 1 and a 5 with a negative and a negative. 1, 5. And the sign of this means that the 5 is going to be negative. And this sign means what? Oh, I'm sorry. This sign means like sign. So that means negative. So, and now you just plug u back in. Or you solve u is equal to 1. And u is equal to 5. And now you just plug it in. think that's right. Yeah, u is equal to 1.
Yeah.
And you can, when you say e to the x is equal to 1, and e to the x is equal to 5, I know right here, and we haven't even done this, so I don't know why they're wanting you to go further, because we don't get into this too much, but we'll see. You can change this to e to the x is equal to e to the 0. How do I get anything raised to the 0 power is what? 1. So, and if the bases are the same,
God.
the exponents are what? Equal. So there, x is equal to 0. Here, you have to take the natural log of both sides. Okay, so I'm going to erase this over here, and the reason you take the natural log of both sides is because when you take the natural log of e to the x, that becomes x. Because the natural log cancels out the what? The e, and you get x is equal to, somebody take the natural log of 5 for me on your calculator. One point six what? 0.94.
Yeah.
Now, this, everybody put this in your notes, because we did a u substitution the other day, didn't we? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the second u substitution we've done. So you should understand how to do u substitution. The new review material right here is right here, where the bases are equal to each other, the exponents are equal to each other, and taking the log of both sides, taking the natural log of both sides, which a lot of you should learn back in 109 when you were doing logs. Okay, so that takes care of that one. I want to move it because, and let's go back and see if it blows up again. Yep. I'm going to have to refresh every time I go.
Do a new question.
This software is sub-primitive. Okay, rationalizing the numerator, rationalizing the denominator. Whenever you're dealing with rationalizing, you have to remember your rules of your radicals. I'm just going to go over a couple right quick. Okay, what happened to my whiteboard? Hold on a second, guys. Something happened to my whiteboard. Just disappeared. There it is. Huh. Okay. Sorry. It was minimized. Okay. Rationalizing the denominator, rationalizing the numerator. If I want to rationalize x over the square root of 7, whatever the denominator is, I'm going to multiply it by itself, because the square root of anything times the square root of anything is going to be the radical, or the radicand. So I'm going to multiply by the square root of 7 over the square root of 7. And that's going to give me x times the square root of 7 over the square root of 49, which I'm showing you the long version, which is equal to x times the square root of 7 over 7. Now, everything's in terms of the index. If you have the cube root, x over the cube root of 2, then I'm going to multiply by the cube root of 4 over the cube root of what? 4. Why? Because what's your first cube root? 8, Hubert. That's right, class. So, x times the cube root of 4 over the cube root of what? 8. And what is the cube root of 8?
2.
X times the cube root of 4. Alright, so that's how you rationalize a single term. Alright? How do you rationalize a binomial or something that you add or subtract or sum or whatever you want to call it? Well, that's when you use the conjugate. Okay, you use the conjugate whenever you want to get rid of something that's added or subtracted. The conjugate is always the opposite operation. So if I give you x over the square root of a plus the square root of b, then I'm going to rationalize by multiplying by the square root of a minus the square root of b over the square root of a minus the square root of b. Now, why do I use the conjugate? Does anybody want to tell me why I use the conjugate? Because it will always give me shortcut number what?
2.
3. Okay? It will always give me shortcut number 3. Which says
I didn't delete it.
a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So if I do this the long way for review, I'll write everything out. X times the square root of a minus the square root of b over square root of a plus b times the square root of a minus the square root of b. Now, do you see where this looks like this? A plus b, a minus b. So I can rewrite that bottom part as the square root of a, quantity squared, minus the square root of b, quantity squared. We don't care anything about it. It's not rationalizing, so we just rewrite it 5 or 6 times. And what happens to your square and your square root? And you get rid of the
Cancels.
Okay. Now you can do it with the numerator and you can do it with the denominator. Why would you use it with the numerator? Limits. And we're going to be going into limits at first, the actual first unit, because this is a review. The actual first unit of calculus we're going to be taking this. Well, you got to understand the limit. Understand the limit to go into derivatives. Okay, so that's why they're wanting you to be able to do the numerator so you can do the limits. All right, so let's go back to the question. There's the question. So what is the conjugate of the square root of r plus the square root of 5? Okay, enunciate and volume.
Square root of r plus the square root.
Minus, be minus. Okay, so I'm going to take my handy dandy virtual pen and I'm going to multiply by square root of r minus the square root of 5 over the square root of r minus the square root of 5. And that's going to give me the square root of r by shortcut 3 squared minus the square root of 5, quantity squared, over 7 times the square root of r minus the square root of 5. And what do you get up top? The R minus what? Over fraction. I'm going to do a line because this is not going to change. You can distribute that 7, but that's all. You're not going to be able to do anything with what you're not rationalizing. If you rationalize the numerator, just write the denominator 5 or 6 times. It's not going to change. If you rationalize in the denominator, the numerator is not going to change. So I just draw a squiggly line there because that represents this, because it really doesn't change. Okay? All right. Does anybody have a question as far as what the heck? Okay. Does anybody have any questions like I'm lost, I don't understand? Okay. All right. And that is very important. That's why I put it in the. That's why I put those 3 topics there, because in the first unit where we go into derivatives and rate of change and we do the limits, algebraically to find the limit, you have to rationalize the numerator or the denominator depending on what they give you. You have to do that. And if you can't do it, then you're pretty much going to suck at it. Okay? So you need to be able to do it. All right, so I guess the best thing for me to do each time I do this is to go back to unanswered, or put this in unanswered. Where did I do that? Move to answered. Then I need to refresh. And then I need to hit this. Okay? Find an equation of the line that satisfies the given conditions. These are the most forgettable problems that students have. In other words, these are the ones that everybody forgets, especially when they've been out a year or more. Okay? First thing you do, and I tell students to do this in a table form, and I tell them to do extra. So somebody write down the 1 and the -1, and then, well, I'll tell you what. I want to impress y'all, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to move my lunch and go here, and go here, and eventually, is it going to start? Yeah. Oh my gosh, where is it? Hold on. Thought I was going.
You were going to snip the equation?
Yeah, I was going to snip it, but.
And you were going to paste it on the roll?
Yes, but. Oh, damn Russians. It won't come up. I'm going to have to minimize this to get this to come up. I don't understand that. It won't even show up on that. Huh. Okay, new, and I'm going to do this. Where did it go?
It should just be in your snipping. Yeah.
Save. And parallel. And I'm going to pull the whiteboard back up and bring a new one and bring it in, and big pictures, big haul. I know, y'all are impressed.
I actually am ready.
That was a lot of steps I didn't think you were going to have to take there.
I didn't have to take that many steps because the reason I took
good.
that many steps is it was hiding behind the screen. All right, so find the equation. So what I do is I tell students to draw a big A table. All right, draw a table with 3 columns, and like this, and put the equation right here. X plus 2y equals 6, and parallel, and point 1, -1, and perpendicular, 1, negative 1. Now, the LAD students don't like this because they're doing extra work, but the reason, the non-LAD students like it is because they're killing two birds with one stone as far as review and as far as remembering how to do something. Okay? This is the only two questions that they're going to ask you. They're going to ask you to find an equation of a parallel line and an equation of a perpendicular. So if you practice 3 problems, you're actually practicing 6 problems because you're doing those of the most popular questions, the parallel and the perpendicular. So first thing you do is draw the table and fill in. Now really, you don't even need this anymore because you've got everything you need. First thing you do, solve for y. Okay, so 2y is equal to negative x plus 6. Divide by 2 on both sides, and you get that answer. At this point, what is m? Somebody tell me what m is.
Negative 1/2.
Negative 1/2. Good, y'all remembered. Therefore, for a parallel line, what does this slope have to be?
The same.
Negative 1/2. Therefore, for a perpendicular line, what does it need to be? It needs to be the opposite sign, and it needs to be the reciprocal. So what's the reciprocal of 1/2?
2.
Now you're ready to use your point slope. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This is x sub 1. This is y sub 1. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This is x sub 1. This is y sub 1. All right, go to it. Now, everybody in here should be able to at least plug and chug and try to finish it. So go ahead and take a minute to do both of those columns. And if you can't do it, just consider yourself what?
Failure.
Yeah. And that you should maybe get a box and live in a ditch.
I already have one.
Have you? I told my daughter she needs to get one. She wants to change her major again. I said, change it to underwater firefighting. What do they call it? Female gender studies. That's what she needs to go into. Oh yeah, there's a big demand out there for female gender studies. Oh. Yes, I want to go to Yale. I can't afford it, but I want to go to Yale or Harvard, and I want to get a job in female gender studies. I graduate after 6 years. I go out and try to find a job, and I can't find a job with female gender studies. And then I cry and I whine about my student loans that I've accumulated going to a prestigious college that I couldn't afford in the first place.
Does your daughter go to Yale?
No, that wasn't my daughter. My daughter, no. I was talking about just in general.
That's what you took away from that?
Huh? She goes to
Your
college.
daughter go to Yale?
She actually got accepted. I told her, I said, now you're going to go down there to Charleston, and you're going to get tired of it, and then you're going to have to move all the way back up here because you're going to want to go to No, I'm not. I'm going to stay down there for all 4 years. I may stay down there for She just got accepted to Clemson. She's going to be moving back after this semester. I didn't say I told you so, but I came close. Anyway, she's a history major, and I told her, I said, you're going to change your major at least 4 times. No, I'm not. I'm going to be da-da-da. Well, this is her 3rd major. She's on her 3rd major right now, and now she's wanting to change it. So I don't know what she's going to do. All right, so here we go. Y minus parentheses is equal to times x minus parentheses Y sub 1 is negative 1. 1 and negative 1/2. And now just solve for y. Y plus 1 is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1/2. Bring the 1 over, minus 2/2. So y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1/2 minus 2/2 is negative what? 1/2. So that's your parallel equation. Now if you haven't done the last one, do it. That was yawn, you only get 3.
Alright.
And that's a negative 1. That's a 2. And that's a 1. Probably my phone.
It's a phone.
It's my vibrator going on. Y plus 1 equals 2. Some of y'all just now get that, right? Yes, I'm worried about that. Vibrator in class the other day. Y plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 2. Bring the 1 over, and that becomes y plus 1. I'm sorry. Y equals 2x minus 3. Now, if you can do both of those and get the parallel line or the perpendicular line, you're good to go. Capiche? Feel good about that? Now I got to get back to all these. Where was I? Oh yeah. Here we go. So I'm going to move that to unanswered or to answered. Refresh because this is primitive. And get this one. I thought I did rationalizing. Did I do rationalizing?
Yeah.
Why didn't it move it?
That's a different person.
Oh, it is? Did we do that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we
move.
did one similar. I think it was a 5.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, it's
That
a
was
3.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one if you don't mind. If you want me to do it afterwards, after class, I'll do it. But I'm gonna leave that one in there, and go to this one.
Making sure.
Oh my gosh, you mean I gotta refresh every time I go somewhere in this thing?
Yeah.
Damn Russians. There we go. Okay, look at this one.
Didn't we do that last time?
No, we looked at it. We looked at it, but we didn't do it, and I don't mind doing it. But no, I remember I said I'm going to wait to do this one. We're going to wait to do this one.
Yeah.
I will tell you this much, okay? And I told you this the other day. All you need on this one for right now is M is equal to I know what's wrong. I don't have the stupid. Give me a minute, guys. I got to turn on the whiteboard. There. Now I got to turn on this. There. You got to know that M is equal to what? Y sub 2. Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. And then what we just went over, Y minus Y sub 1 is equal to M times X minus X sub 1. All right? Graph this guy. Put this in your calculator. Graph it. find 2 points, which you can use this one. And I'm going to use years since 2000, so this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They do not specify, I don't think, in the whether they want you to do years since 2000 or the year. So I'm going to pick 2. So this will be, I'll pick this one, and I'll pick this one.
Oh, wow.
And this is my X, and this is my Y's. So I'm just going to put 2, 6 will be 6, 135.3. That's 1 point. That's X of 1, Y sub 1. And X of 2, Y sub 2 is going to be 8, comma, 138.9.
Are you talking about you just pick 2 points, so you
I just picked
just
2
find the
points.
average between the 2 points?
Well, we're going to find the slope. Yes.
Instead of doing the whole thing,
What whole thing?
like all the numbers.
Well, if you did all the numbers, you would have to rely on a calculator. So that's why I'm doing this. We're doing it by hand.
Because I remember doing this in my calculus class, and we had to do all the numbers, and you had to
Yeah,
put
that's
it in
the-
the calculator,
yeah.
and it was crazy long.
That's the calculator, yes. I don't want you to do the calculator because right now I'm more interested in you being able to do
And then right.
it by hand. Okay, so here we go. You got to find the slope. So M is equal to parentheses 138.9 minus 135.3 over X of 2 is 8 minus 6. So M is equal to something over 2. Somebody do the 138.96, 3.6. Somebody check that for me.
Yeah.
And that's not what they're doing.
Yes.
3.6 divided by 2 is not what they're getting. So they're doing something else. Let me read the directions. Hold on. Let me see what they're doing.
Well, I mean, I think you,
Yeah, it's 1.8.
I think you
That
were
is right.
right because the answer was 3.4 and you got 3.6.
Okay, well,
But you just wanted to divide the 3.6 by 2, and they just had it 3.4. They didn't divide it.
that's not right. That's not right because it'll come out to be 1.8.
1.8, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The
it's-
table shows.
I think it's because you take 2 points and they did the calculator version of it.
Do you think they did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not-
Alright, let's try
well, let me get there first.
it. Yeah.
See, that's another reason I didn't want to do this problem. Okay.
Good bit.
Punch it in your calculator and then go to linear regression. So take your handy dandy calculator.
I already did it.
Well, I need to do it for everybody. So hold on.
I'll be.
Let me get this and go here. And clear this. Yes. Pull this over. I hope y'all can see it. All right, so the stat, edit, and the first one is what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How far does it go? To 10?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to have to give me those numbers if you would.
130.8,
130.8,
135.3,
135.3,
136.7. Someone else check me because my B I got wrong.
136 point what?
0.7,
Next,
138.9,
138.9,
143.3,
143.3,
149.6.
149.6. Everybody got that? And then just go to stat, calculate, and go to linear regression right here. And hit enter. There it is. Your slope is 3.44 and your y-intercept is 1.13. And as far as I'm concerned, if you want to graph it, you're going to have to go to stat plot, which is second y equals. Turn on the stat plot. Make sure it's some kind of a, I always do a scatter plot and hit graph. And you're going to have to hit zoom statistic, which I think is 0. Is it 9? 9. And enter. And that's what it looks like. So the reason I did not get the correct answer was because I was assuming this was a straight line, but it's not. I was assuming they were just wanting you to do the slope and the y-intercept, but it's not a straight line. So that's why they went through and put in a regression curve, which the calculator automatically does that. So that's what it looks like. Is this a question I really want you to focus on right now? No. All right, this is the first question that we've done today that I don't want you to focus too much on right now. I want to do it for a little bit later. If I knew it was in there, I would have waited and done it with 1.11, which is last. Okay? So, or 111 and one other section, models. So, let's kind of hold off on this one. I'm going to leave that one, and we'll come back to it later and finish doing it. So let's go back to here, and I think that's what they got right there. But we'll check it and see. Let me go back to, I'm going to leave that as unanswered so we can go back over it. And I got to hit refresh so it will work. What was that? 1.4. I'm going to go right here. All right, do that one, completing the square. Go ahead, we'll work on that one. 9x squared minus x is equal to 0. 9x squared minus x is equal to 0. 9x squared minus x is equal to 0. Now, before we start completing the square, what do we have to do?
Take out the 9.
We got to take out the 9. Good. I'm usually not used to people answering that. 9, and that'll be x minus 1/9. X plus blank is equal to 0 plus 9 times blank. Number one question I get here, where did 1/9 come from? Well, what's in front of this x? A 1. And when you factor, you divide. And that's when, after you get that 1/9, that's when you quit because it's a what? And you just give up. All right, so go over here to the side and take b, 1/9, and divide it by 2 over 1 and square it. Well, we don't divide by fractions, we multiply by fractions. So that's 1/9 multiplied by 1/2 and square it. And that's going to be 1 over 18. And that's going to be, well, 196 to, I don't know what 18 is. 20 would be 400, right?
Yeah.
So 18 is what? I have no idea. Somebody take 18 and square it. What do you get?
24.
3 what?
24.
Thank you. So 1 over 324 here. 1 over 324 here. That gives you shortcut number 2. 9x minus 1 over 18 quantity squared is equal to, will 9 go into 32? Well, 9 will go in 3 times. That'll leave 27. That'll leave 54, which is 6.
9 times 36.
Okay, 36, so that's good. So that'd be 1 over 36. That's 9 over 1, so 9 cancel 36. There we go. And now there's your vertex, which we're not worried about that. They want you to find the x-intercepts. So divide by 9. Divide by 9 over 1. That cancels. I get x minus 1/18 quantity squared is equal to, you don't divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. And I think that's going to come out to be 324, right? 324. And that's positive, yeah, you got to take the square root of it. And that becomes x minus 1 over 18 is equal to positive or negative 1 over what? 18. And add, bring this over, you add it, that cancels, bring this over. And what's 1 plus 1? 2 over 18, which is 1/9, and 0. That should be what they got. On a scale from 1 to 10, on being able to master completing the square, with 1 being, no, it's not important, and 10 being very important, it's an 11.5. Same thing with rationalization. Capiche?
Capiche.
All right. I'm not even Italian. All right, I didn't move that one. What was that one? This one? Okay, I'm not gonna screw it up. Let's go to this one. That's 1.11. I don't want to go over 1.11 yet, so we're gonna skip that one. Sorry, don't fuss at me, but I don't want to go over things, and I want to go over the more complicated, less review stuff last. So 1.9. Okay, we did one like this.
I think we did this.
Yeah, we did one like that. So now again, what's the only thing you have to be careful on these is they are saying, I still don't agree with this because they're saying right here that it's less than. How do you know it's less than? I don't see no freaking open circles. Do y'all? So I'll be very lenient on this, but they don't give you any negative infinity to positive infinity or anything like that. So I guess you're supposed to use common sense, but I don't like this question. I don't like it as a test question either. So I don't like it because of the ambiguity, I guess you call it, the openness of this. I don't like that. All right, let's go back, and I'm going to try to hit some more of the good ones. Let's see, I don't know which one that was. Was that one?
Yeah, you did the 1.92.
About this one. Okay, here's another U substitution. Do it.
We did this.
No, did we? Okay. Well, let me move that one back to answer, and I'll move the one above it. I didn't know. Was that 1.9?
The 1.9 is the one you just clicked off of with the concave down. I'm pretty sure.
Move that to answered. I think these are the ones we went over the other
I
day.
didn't refresh before you clicked on it.
Oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Well, it's not my computer because each one of these rooms, that's a server. That's not a tabletop. That's a server. So it's not the server. I don't know what the heck it is. Let's see. What was I on? This one? We went over that one.
Down the
We did
list.
that one too.
Yeah, I think we went over all of these yesterday or the other day. Hold on, I got to refresh every time. Let's see if I did that one. Okay, I don't think I used this one. I don't think I did this one.
No, this is the first day we started doing these.
Okay, all right, go ahead and write this one down. But it's easy to figure since we did that problem the few minutes ago. We have the same bases, right?
Yeah.
So you can set the denominator equal. Set the what are them things called? Exponents. You can set them equal to what? Each other. So set them equal to each other, and you get.
Just curious, what's wrong with the 6 in the middle there? Doesn't it look like it's floating?
No,
It's with the.
it should be written like this. E to the x squared plus 6 is equal to
Oh, okay.
e to the 5x, like that. That's the way it should be written.
Okay, because I completely wrote that wrong.
Yeah. And then since these are the same, the rule is if you have 2 to the x is equal to 2 to the 4th, then these two cancel basically, and you're left with x is equal to what? 4. That's kind of a generalization of the rule with exponents. So in this case, since these two are equal, x squared plus 6 is equal to what? 5x. And then you just stare at it for 15 minutes because you don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
No. You got to put it in quadratic form. X squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. And at this point, you decide whether you want to use reverse FOIL or completing the square. And I think we did one like this today, did we not? No, that would be -2 and -3. Which would give you x minus 2, x minus 3 is equal to 0, which would give you those two there. Okay, how we feeling so far? Everybody good? How about the ones that told me, that raised their hand, that said that they hadn't taken algebra in a year or two? How are we doing? Is this review kind of knocking the cobwebs loose? Okay. Now I know some of y'all are kind of bored, and I understand that, but just bear with me, okay? Because before I get into calculus, I do the same thing with my 140. The heck with trying to teach different people different levels. I want to make sure everybody is on the same sheet of music when I start calculus. And the only way to do that is have a good review and make sure everybody can do algebra, because 90% of calculus is mastery of algebra. If you suck at algebra, you're going to flunk calculus. Period. So let's go ahead and move to answered. And we'll see if there's any that I haven't covered yet, except for those two that I don't want to cover. Completing the square, I think we did that one. Yeah, we did that one. Refresh. Continue. I'm going to get that one, move that one out. Okay. Question, gripe, complaint. I think we covered all of these.
Are we gonna have a test review?
You'll have no. Basically, the day that we go over our last set of homework questions, like what's the last section of homework?
1.6.
1.6. When we go over, I'll go over 1.6 and we'll go over questions. Then I'll pull up the test and I'll let y'all see it. We'll go through and I'll show you the questions. Of course, that's not the same questions you're going to have. If you think I'm that big of an idiot, then you don't need to be in this class. But you'll pull, each question pulls from about 10 different questions. Each question reorganizes and regenerates algorithmically, and then they're at different orders. So the chances of you pulling up the same test that I pull up is very, very, very slim. So a lot of people, he's going to pull up the test. I'll just copy down the answers. Well, you're an idiot if you think I'm that stupid. Okay? Some do. Okay, let me go. I'm just going to go pull these up. I just want to.
Time limit on it?
I don't know. I'll probably go over that the day I go over the test. It's probably an hour and a half. I go hour and a half is what I give on everybody.
How many questions?
Depends on. That's what I go over the review that day.
That's a lot of time compared to what we had last semester. I had this one teacher, man, we'd walk in, we'd have a quiz that had like 20 calculus questions on it. He's like, you got 15 minutes, whatever you don't finish is just wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Okay, we went over one like that.
And this James Lamb guy.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Oh, he's a nightmare.
I've heard he's.
James Lane.
Yeah. At Pendleton. He's like a dinosaur.
We went over that one. I have to hit refresh, y'all, so just hold on. We went over that one. I didn't know there was a move to unanswered when we went over these, and y'all were making me uncomfortable because y'all weren't comfortable with the woman that was in here, and that was making me uncomfortable. So
She was scary looking, man.
she's our librarian.
She clear. She's gonna.
Okay, did
I've
we
never
go over
met a
this
nice
one? We went
librarian.
over this one, didn't we? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we went over that one. And I think these are the ones I want to wait. I went over this one.
That'd be the whole.
Okay, question. Does anybody have any questions on what we went over today? Does anybody, and how does everybody feel so far on the review?
Great, Hubert.
Good, I guess. I
Two
got-
people out of 30.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is good.
I don't know until I do it.
Okay, till you do it, I hope y'all started working on it.
Honestly, how far should I be in the homeworks?
It's a review. You should be, how many sections? 11? You should be at least halfway through. You should be, now that doesn't mean you should be at the middle. It means you should have at least 5 sections done because it's a review. You could bounce all around. The last 2 or 3 sections I can understand if you don't have done because it's a little bit of transition there. So I'm not worried about the last 3 sections. I'm worried more about the 3 sections that have my name on it and then the first 7 or 8 sections. The first 7 or 8 sections. So you should be finishing up if you want to know the truth about it. You should be already top the hill. You should be coming down on the other side. You should be on the other last 5 sections or something like that. Okay?
I got some work to do then.
I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me. I mean, I could look, but I'm not going to because that'll just make me mad. Okay, I'm going to give everybody a here today because I think there's a lot of people missing. I'm not going to take roll. Does anybody have any questions? If not, y'all can go.
There's a lot of people not here, so I'm just going to say everybody's here.
Okay, and I will see y'all Tuesday, and hopefully I'll see a lot of questions because remember I said we're going to be having a test here pretty soon. So y'all be good. If you got questions, stay after class.
Look, I missed a class. I was on it.
Honestly, like, just texting would be like,
Yeah.
what's he gonna do? Is he gonna see?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?